You mentioned that you are hiring the entry-level positions in cyber, right? So what is the skill set if in terms of technology stack you might be looking for as in the security domain?
Entry level is entry level. Your job when you hire entry level is to invest and train them to be better than the day that they arrive. Don't over index or over rotate on the skills. Look for those intangibles in your entry level people.
Can you tell us from security perspective that how we can make sure that we are not losing the most important information?
The quickest answer is you just take them off the boards so people can't use them, can't install them, can't leverage them.
So what should be the steps they should be and what the roadmap look like for them?
As a security leader, you're almost always not dealing with a greenfield operation where you can build anything you want.
Welcome to the Executive Outlook. Today, we are honored to feature Scott, a visionary who turned cybersecurity into a strategic powerhouse. With decades of experience from national defense projects to driving growth at dynamic startups, Scott proves that smart security is a smart business. So get ready to discover how smart security can redefine leadership in our digital era. Welcome, Scott.
I appreciate you, Isha. It's good to be here on the Executive Outlook. I've looked through a lot of your content recently. You are definitely bringing some powerful leaders into your world and sharing them with us. So that's great.
Thank you so much. So tell me something, Scott, that how you came into the cybersecurity era.
Yes, so I'll take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Scott Brammer. I am a CISO with RegEd. That is short for Regulatory Education. We help do compliance for big banks, big insurers, big brokers. I also represent the Cybersecurity Council, and that is a local community primarily here within Texas and the United States where we are trying to serve cyber leaders. You asked about AI and the future of the landscape. I will get there, but may I take you on a little bit of a journey that goes through a few other things first? Okay, so I'm going to continue to share a little bit about the office of the CISO. So the CISO role has been around since 1998, 1990. There is still a Department of Know or cost center associated with security teams because in a lot of places, security is not directly generating revenue, but it's certainly bringing some costs to the organization. You've got to find your way. It's often only cybersecurity pure organizations delivering cybersecurity pure products where cybersecurity is generating revenue. But cybersecurity does generate opportunities. There's that compliance is the floor, resilience is the floor, security operations, being able to execute, that's the floor. You're not going to get the next contract without these things in place. We are a chief, we are an officer, we have the executive mandate. You just need to learn how to work with all of your stakeholders and think like a business and culture leader.
Thank you so much for sharing responsibilities and how CISO office looks like. You are sharing the great insights for sure.
Okay, thank you. Right now, I am 5 months into my latest CISO. We're still on this journey of the office of the CISO a little bit. I want to make sure everybody knows delegate your tasks, empower your team, try to uplift yourself to supervising because you have a lot to supervise. The last thing I want to say about the office of the CISO is give yourself permission to graduate from that 90-day plan early. As business leaders, we're often told, make sure you're looking, make sure you're listening. If you need to make a hard call, do it. Do your stakeholder engagement to make sure everyone is informed, but do it. And that they can trust you to make a hard call. Just do it right.
It is amazing. So basically, what I have got from your conversation is that it is difficult to justify to other executives that, hey, this is a problem and we have to take the step forward in order to resolve it. In future, it can come to us, right? So we have to be taken care of that. So the role is difficult here because we have to tell the problem and then get the funding budget from them in order to implement that. And that takes a lot. So I do understand, and you have covered the points that, hey, you can do in this way, you can try to convince them in this way, and how you can manage your team and how you can delegate the task and do the management. Yeah.
Yes. Hopefully, there are some universal lessons here for any tech leader, not just cyber folks that's overhearing what we're talking about. Okay. Building an effective security team. You absolutely need the right people in the right places. And the security teams are often under even more considerable compression than others because we are often the last to be resourced. When I am hiring, I am looking for robust and trusted skills. I rarely have the opportunity to hire entry level. Now, I believe in training, I believe in people, and I want to elevate everyone that I possibly can, and I want everyone to be cyber. I do want to take someone from another part of my organization and bring them over to cyber and be able to reap the benefits of their cross training and knowledge from other domains. Cyber is hard. It also comes with a specific mentality. You have to be willing to accept uncertainty, not just day by day, but sometimes moment by moment. Oh my gosh, what does this security alert mean? It looks very scary. That is not the right place for everyone. Everyone can do that once a week, but often security has to do it 20 times a day or much more.
You mentioned that you are hiring the entry level positions in cyber, right? So what is the skill set, if in terms of technology stack, that you might be looking for as in the security domain?
Entry level should be entry level, meaning a candidate can arrive with rudimentary skills and you intern them and or invest in them to get them where they need to go. So maybe that's security analyst, maybe that's junior security engineer. Your tech stack will dictate what types of skills you are looking for. But again, entry level is entry level. Don't discount enthusiasm and attitude. Leverage that and just know your job when you hire entry level is to invest and train them to be better than the day that they arrive. Don't over index or over rotate on the skills. Look for those intangibles in your entry level people. I bring that up because let's say that let's say you're a Microsoft or you're an AWS shop. Your entry level candidate may not have those immediate skills. They could still be incredibly valuable. All right. If you need a specific set of firewall skills or VPN skills or application security skills, yes, you want to hire for those skills, but I caution you, don't over rotate for that in the entry level space. If you need an AppSec engineer, hire an AppSec engineer. An AppSec engineer is almost never entry level.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Entry level candidates are often really, really fantastic for triaging alerts as a security analyst, working a help desk, helping generate specific policies, being liaisons to specific teams or security champion spaces. An entry level is always going to require supervision. If you can bring just about anybody, if they've got the right enthusiasm and attitude, and you can get them into one of these minimum scope spaces where they can shine. Okay. It is time for some artificial intelligence, some machine learning, and this also implies data governance. We've had the explosion of ChatGPT now for 3 years. It has affected all of us. And in the last 6 months, Microsoft has force fed us a lot of Microsoft Copilot. It's now in Notepad. It's now in MS Teams. It is now everywhere. And the same can be said for other tools. There's embedded AI and Adobe Acrobat. There's Atlassian, Jira, and Confluence tools. It's everywhere. You need to have some robust, not just data governance strategies, but AI and ML strategies. If you're a security person, don't let technology grab the AI ML flag and run away with it. Go run with them. Otherwise, it's going to become a shadow IT nightmare for you. So stay involved, stay engaged, and don't let that flag get too far away.
You mentioned that we should be using the tools we should be using in our organizations, but can you tell us from security perspective that how we can make sure that we are not losing the most, or we are not being, our important information should not be sent to the AI?
Okay. Okay. If you have AI ML in-house, meaning you've chosen a model, you have implemented it into a product, well, that's the best case scenario because you can either sandbox that and prevent data leakage or you can add a lot of guardrails. Guardrails can be and include filters on the inputs. You can prevent from the prompts and from the data ingest, you can prevent degraded data, bad requests, or the wrong kind of information from even being captured by the model or your data lakes or whatever it is that you have on the other side. So again, using your own models, your own environments, your own guardrails, that's the best option. But let's say your company has 25 AI/ML tools, that may only apply to one out of those 25. For the rest, you need training and you need data loss prevention tools.
So how we can get the data loss prevention measures?
Okay. The quickest answer is you have a block list. You block tool 1, you block tool 2, you block tool 3. You just take them off the boards so people can't use them, can't install them, can't leverage them. Blocking is not the way. That causes a lot of user friction. That makes your C-suite upset. That makes your people uncomfortable. That is not the best option. Sometimes it is the only option, and if that's where you are, then do that. Now, you've asked me, how do you do the data loss prevention? There are many different ways, and your tech stack will dictate what's available to you. You may have VPNs, you may have firewalls, you may have endpoint protection, and you may have data loss prevention. All four of those, and there are other things too, all four of those have tools and abilities to block certain types of usage. With the data loss prevention tools specifically, the very first thing you should do is settings and options. So for example, if you've decided we're going to allow Microsoft Copilot in our environment, go into Microsoft Copilot and choose the settings. You can choose what it can allow to be ingested, so you can configure the tool directly. So this applies to a lot of the things that I've mentioned before. If you're using AI within Confluence and Jira, you can configure the tool within Confluence and Jira. To return to data loss prevention is more of the last resort and how to control what goes into AI and ML. And it's a last resort because it doesn't always work, right? It is not always the best option. Data loss prevention can only block what it can see. I'm going to close the door and we'll try again.
Yep.
Data loss prevention tools are the tools of last resort. They are the tools of last resort because the block lists, the firewalls, VPNs, and configuring the AI/ML tools directly comes first. Data loss prevention is your last resort also because it has the least amount of visibility and it has the least amount of ability to block something from going into AI/ML. Just because it's at the end of the list doesn't mean it's not valuable. I rely on data loss prevention every day to do the right things for my organization. Data loss prevention tools can be powerful. So if you do have them, you can configure them to detect certain types of data, to take specific actions. Sometimes those actions may be to encrypt things. Sometimes it may be to block. Sometimes it may be to notify the senior manager that this activity happened or was blocked, etc. And from there, you can return to the beginning of our list, which is training people to do better. Every DLP tool on the market is very aware of AI/ML guardrails and is trying to be a part of the solution. So they are getting stronger every day. They are getting a lot of things built into them that can help you save yourself.
So any personal preferences for you for these tools?
Okay. One of the leading tools on the market is Darktrace. It's so fantastic. It shows up on the back wing of F1 Formula One cars, right? So it's got worldwide appeal. Within Microsoft tech stack itself, you have Microsoft Purview, which I always have a difficult relationship with Microsoft products, but Purview is getting better every single day, and it is becoming a go-to solution for lots of people, especially people that are E4 or E5 licensed, because it's already paid for in a lot of ways. Go out there and look for other data loss prevention tools. There's Netscope, etc. Find the ones that work for you. And if you are a security or compliance professional trying to do this, negotiate. There are enough people on the market that you can get a better price. I guarantee it.
So I have one question. That CISO is there, right? And they need to make a roadmap for their security roadmap that aligns with their business. So, what should be the steps they should be following, and what the roadmap look like for them?
Okay. I start building my roadmaps from the roadmaps that have come before. As a security leader, you're almost always not dealing with a greenfield operation where you can build anything you want. There have been security leaders and technology leaders that have come before you and they've already built roadmaps. So pay attention to those because stakeholders already have expectations and maybe even offered their buy-in on what already exists. After that, you're in your 90-day plan, or maybe this is year 3. It doesn't really matter. You're still checking your budget. You're still doing a vulnerability and security posture assessment to figure out where your gaps are. And that's where your roadmap starts. How are you optimizing? Where do you need to go from here? I could equally argue that business objectives is where you start. You're synthesizing both of these at the same time together to form your roadmap, which means you need to know the goals of the organization for the next 3 years. That means talking to all of those product leaders, your CEO, the board of directors, maybe your private equity, and you have different aspirations or different possible futures. Maybe there's different markets and products that are already scheduled to hit. You need to be able to support all of those. So those prerequisites come first. Once all of that has been attended to, you need to incorporate regulatory change. In a lot of ways, regulatory agencies are beginning to get very good about a period for comments, promulgation, and giving a 6-month, 2 or 3 year runway before things are going to change. As one example, ISO 27001, multiple years before the latest ISO year 2022 hit. So you could see all of those changes coming to the point that even the consultants of the world could get educated on it and give you advice long before it hit. That is those kinds of appetites are happening elsewhere in the regulatory space. So you should have runway to make the changes and adapt your roadmaps. There's a common project management phrase of putting a buffer in your projects, 10% extra time for eventualities and for hidden complexity and for the unknown unknowns. The same is true of roadmaps. Any project manager will tell you you want to estimate as accurately as possible, and you should not have a buffer where possible. But we do live in a world of complexity. Buffers exist for reasons, and buffers should be built into roadmaps as well. Now, oftentimes a roadmap might exist at an annual, semi-annual, or quarterly delivery level anyway, so it's got some flexibility built in from the beginning. But if you are your teams are going to know what is coming because they should be as plugged in as any CISO. And what I mean by that is if you are in healthcare, you know HIPAA is going to change. If you are in privacy, you know that the EU AI Act and CCPA are going to change. If you are in data governance, you know that data protection requirements are going to change. And you have a notion of what requirements are going to come first, second, and third. And I bring all of this up to say, if you are expecting to deliver a new data governance solution 12 months from now, you already have or should have a notion of what regulations are going to impact you and when. You can build that into your roadmap. And for the unknowns, those do exist. Give yourself some buffer and some relief.
That can help us to tackle the unknown.
Yes. Isha, it has been fantastic talking to you today. I have been representing RegEd and the Cybersecurity Council today, but most of all, I've been trying to represent what is best and healthiest for security professionals and for the office of the CISO. Hopefully, I've shared some things that will be helpful for your listeners. I know that's a broad set of business and technology leaders, but we tried to build on the office of the CISO today and what it does and how it works and how stakeholder engagement can happen. You've gratefully asked me some questions about AI/ML, regulatory change, and managing the future. If there's any other questions, I'm delighted to take them. And I'm always available for you or your listeners if they have follow-up questions.
Thank you so much for sharing so much insights Till now, we have been interviewing the technology leaders, as you have mentioned it. So this is a different perspective what we have got it from the cybersecurity and how we should be taking consideration how we should set up what the role and responsibility of CISOs, and for sure how AI and ML is playing a big role in it, and how we can make sure to protect while utilizing the AI ML of it.
Isha, thank you to you and thank you to the Executive Outlook.